Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here, so I'm going to have to take my glasses off so I have to be able to read. We're going to be doing another Medical Monday. So today is Monday, August 7th. It's not been a bad day out here. I'll give you the weather forecast here real quick. It's been pretty decent so far. We're talking about rain this afternoon. So it is a little after, let's see, it's a little after 3 now, I think. Yeah, it's 3:30. So this afternoon we're supposed to get some rain, but we've had some decent sunshine today. Okay, so today on Medical Mondays, what we're going to talk about. Now, last week we talked about hypothermia. Today we're going to talk about hyperthermia. Okay, so it's we're going to switch it up from, like I say, each week we're going to do something different. But these were the two subjects that I wanted to touch on first. So, like I say, last week we did hypothermia. Today we're going to do hyperthermia. So basically, what hyperthermia is, it's a side effect of extreme heat. Okay, so basically, your normal body temperature is about 36 degrees Celsius. When you go above 38 degrees Celsius, you're looking at going into, to hyperthermia. Okay, so basically, what the reason that it happens is the body produces more than it absorbs, as far as the heat goes, more than it can release. So you're heating up too fast. Your body cannot release it fast enough. So that's what's causing you to go into hyperthermia. The body temperature climbs higher than it's able for the normal body metabolism to release that. Okay, and how does the body release heat? It does it through sweating, through your urination, and also through your breathing. When you're breathing out, you're getting rid of the heat that way. Okay. So your body's not effectively able to deal with regulating your body temperature when it gets overheated with hyperthermia. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So basically, there's three major stages of hyperthermia. Okay. You got heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and then heat stroke. Okay, obviously heat stroke is the worst one. Okay, this happens when the body cannot regulate temperatures under normal conditions. That's why you're going to go into hyperthermia. Okay, so we're going to go into the signs of heat cramps. Okay, possible fainting, muscle cramps, lightheadedness, weakness, and so those are reasons why you would have heat cramps. Okay, so how would you treat heat cramps? You're going to go into a cool place. You're going to want them to lay down, the person to lay down. Okay, drink lots of fluids, elevate their feet, apply a cold compress if you can give them a cold compress, and then if you can use a fan to lower the body temperature, that would be great. Or you can use, you can use a magazine or a newspaper to fan them. Also have them drink lots of fluids, okay? One of the things you definitely do not want them to be drinking is coffee or alcohol. That's not going to help. So you want to just push fluids, get them out of the sun, and work on, helping get them cramps out if you can. Have them lay down, like I said, and elevate their feet. Okay, so the signs of it would be, you're looking at, wait a minute, I'm going, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I was getting ahead of myself. So that's how you want to deal with heat cramps. Okay, then you're talking about heat exhaustion. Okay, and a lot of these symptoms are going to be the same, but to a different degree. Okay, so the symptoms of heat exhaustion are weakness, profuse sweating, so like sweating a lot, nausea, vomiting, headache, and also muscle cramps again. Muscle cramps is pretty much standard along all three of these. Okay, so the way to treat it is you're gonna check their temperatures. You're gonna put them in the shade. You're gonna remove any kind of clothing that's unnecessary clothing. Okay, bathe them in cool water. Give them lots of fluids. Again, no coffee and no booze. Okay. If they're conscious, give them a half a teaspoon of salt mixed with about 500 milliliters of water. Do not give them salt tablets. Don't do that, okay? So you want to mix the salt, half a teaspoon of salt, into like 500 milliliters of, like a big bottle of water, and have them drink that. Let's see, if they're having severe vomiting or diarrhea, then you're going to seek medical attention right away, okay? You're going to try to help them, like with their cramps if you can. Soak them in, like a sponge bath with cool water if you can do that. Remain calm. That's the biggest thing with that, is you staying calm so they don't panic, okay? And just wait for medical help to arrive. If they, like I said, that's for heat, going blank here, for heat exhaustion, okay? So you want to really keep an eye on things, and if they're like having that profuse sweating, and if they're having some nausea or vomiting and stuff like that, again, you want to get them laid down. You're going to want to put on a cold sheet, a wet sheet if you can. Again, if you can use a fan, or if you have to use a newspaper or a magazine to fan them to try to keep them cool, that's the best way to do it, okay? And so if they're unconscious, you're going to want to make sure that their airway is clear, okay? You're going to continue to try to do all these other things, but make sure you've called for medical help. It's probably the first thing you should do in any of these situations, other than just like the first one, heat cramps. That's just a little bit of overdoing it. But you get into heat exhaustion, and if you get into heat stroke, it's a whole different ball game, okay? Because that could lead to death if it's not taken care of. And I've actually had heat exhaustion myself. I didn't seek medical help. I just got myself in a cool place and laid down and drank lots of water and had a fan on me and tried to re-regulate my body temperature. And it sucked. I'll tell you what, I had a headache and a whole 9 yards. It was awful. Okay, so heat stroke is the worst stages of hyperthermia. So this is when the body can no longer control its temperature due to the excessive heat. That can be dealt with normally through its normal ways to regulate the temperature, and it can be accompanied by the breakdown of the central nervous system. So that's kind of scary stuff, guys, okay? You want to look at all the heat deaths that we've had in cars with like little kids and stuff like that, where people leave their kids in a car. The cars heat up the most in the first 15 to 30 minutes. That's when cars get the hottest, is in that time period. And so the morbidity, the death rate of heat stroke is 25 to 50%. So we're talking a lot of people don't make it out of heat stroke, okay? So it's a very, very serious thing. And like I said, you look at even this year, all the deaths we've had with little kids in cars and stuff like that, and I can't believe people still do it. Leave their kid in the car and go into the store, and that car heats up, and then that kid ends up dying. Alright, so signs of a heat stroke. Let's see. Oh, and let me go back into this, I'm sorry. So who's the most susceptible to a heat stroke, okay? Infants would be number one. That's why you see so many small children and infants dying in cars, is because they're a compromised person anyway. And because of that extreme rise in, can't get it out today, guys, I'm sorry. The extreme raise in temperature, it affects them that much more. Your elderly people, a lot of them are dealing with, especially the ones dealing with like heart or lung disease, kidney disease, or increased risk of dehydration. That you're going to have a lot of the older people too. So of course, again, same with hypothermia. Your little kids and your elderly are your most susceptible. But the difference is here with this one too, you're talking about athletes, okay? They're more susceptible to it because they're really overdoing it and they're pushing their bodies. And also people who work outside. Those are also people that are more susceptible because they're obviously out in the elements and stuff like that. So the symptoms would be elevated heart rate, okay? The skin turns red, muscle cramps, dizziness, hallucinations, weakness. Those are signs that somebody's having a heat stroke. Now, the thing is that the skin's going to turn red but it's going to be dry and hot. Okay, it's not going. You're not going to have sweating once you get into that heat stroke stage. Okay, so there's a difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. If you have heat exhaustion, you're going to have profuse sweating, a lot of sweating. When you get into heat stroke, you're not going to be sweating anymore at all. Okay, so anyway, so what you're looking at here, let's see. So the treatment, if the person is conscious, you're going to move them again to a cool place, remove all unnecessary clothes, lie them down with their head and shoulders slightly elevated. So that's a little bit of a difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Okay, is with the heat exhaustion, you are going to elevate their feet. With a heat stroke, you're going to elevate their head and their shoulders. Okay, so then you're going to douse them with cold water. If you can put a cold sheet on them again, or wet sheet, that's the way you want to do it. If you can use a fan, put a fan on them. Again, if you can't use a fan, then a newspaper or magazine and fan them. All right. So, and again, of course, then you're going to seek immediate medical help. And if they're unconscious, the only difference is you do the same exact steps if they're conscious, but if they're unconscious, you want to remove all the clothing. Okay. And then, obviously, if you can have a wet sheet, or, if you don't have access to a sheet, then you could probably use a towel. Okay. Get it completely soaked, get it wet, cover them up with that. Okay, that's going to help trying to get that temperature up. But the biggest thing with that is you want to make sure, again, that you are, making, getting medical attention. That's probably the biggest thing, because like I said, with the mortality rate, that's the word I was trying to use earlier, of 25 to 50% of people that have heat stroke, that's a lot. That's not good at all. Okay, so the biggest thing is, guys, if you're out in the heat and you're out there, is making sure that you're pushing your fluids, making sure you're drinking a lot. If you are feeling any of the early symptoms, get yourself in the shade, cool down. I mean, don't push yourself, because you push yourself and you go into heat exhaustion or heat stroke, I mean, it can be deadly. And your body is going to give you those signs and symptoms. It's going to tell you what you need to watch out for. Okay, so those are things, if you're cramping, if you are starting to sweat a lot, you're getting a little confused, you are, feeling nauseous, your body's telling you it's time to get out of that sun. So hopefully this helps. Like I said, I wanted to do these two topics first on my first two, Medical Monday videos. And so hopefully that helps you guys, because that's realistically, I mean, most people are either going to deal with extreme cold or extreme heat. Okay, so those are two things that you really want to watch out for. So hopefully this helps, and look forward to doing next Monday, and we'll do a different topic. Okay, so remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. And, remember STD. One step at a time, one thing at a time, one day at a time. Whatever you're working towards, whatever goals you're trying to reach, you can do it. The only one that can stop you from doing it is you. And persevere, guys, and be safe. That's the biggest thing as far as being out either in the heat or being in the cold. Be safe, okay? I will talk to you all tomorrow, obviously. So, I am like whacked out today for some reason. I do not know why. So anyway, listen, I will talk to you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.